Listen to me very carefully. I once asked a millionaire friend of mine, let's call him Marcus, what separates the wealthy from the middle class. His answer stopped me cold. Franklin, the middle class spends their future, while the wealthy spend their interest. Think about that for 60 seconds. Every dollar you spend today without generating more dollars tomorrow is stealing from your future self. The middle class has mastered the art of trading time for money, but they've forgotten the most crucial skill, making money work for them while they sleep. Welcome back to Cash and Consequences, where money truths meet real-world wisdom. I'm Franklin, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because what I'm about to share could literally reshape how you see money forever. And to my loyal subscribers, thank you for being part of this community where we don't sugarcoat financial reality. Let me paint you a picture that might hit uncomfortably close to home. The average American middle-class family spends roughly $180 to $250 per day. Yes, you heard that right, daily. That's between $65,000 and $90,000 annually. And here's the kicker. Most of it disappears without creating a single penny of future wealth. I was reviewing financial statements for one of my consulting clients last month, a software engineer making $85,000 in Austin, Texas. Solid middle-class income, right? Wrong. After breaking down his daily expenses, we discovered he was spending $247 per day and saving less than 8% of his income. He was literally running a marathon on a financial treadmill. Let me break down where that daily money vanishes, because understanding this is the difference between dying middle class and dying wealthy. Housing costs eat up $120 daily for most middle-class families. That's mortgage or rent, utilities, maintenance, property taxes. In cities like San Francisco or Toronto, this number skyrockets to $150, $200 daily. I remember consulting for a marketing manager in Vancouver who was spending $180 daily just on housing. That's $65,700 annually for a 2-bedroom condo. She was literally paying rent on her future dreams. Transportation devours another $25, $40 daily. Car payments, insurance, gas, maintenance, parking. In France, where I've done extensive consulting, families spend slightly less due to better public transit. But in suburban America, forget about it. One client in Dallas was spending $45 daily between 2 car payments and associated costs. That's $16,120 annually. Money that could have bought dividend-paying stocks instead. Food and groceries claim $35, $55 daily for a typical family. Here's where it gets interesting. I've noticed wealthy clients spend similar amounts on groceries, but they view food differently, as fuel for productivity, not comfort or entertainment. The middle class often spends an additional $15, $25 daily on restaurants and takeout, turning a necessity into a wealth drain. Now here's where most financial advisors get it wrong. They focus on cutting expenses. That's poverty thinking. I focus on understanding the psychological patterns that create these expenses, because behavior drives numbers, not the other way around. The middle class has been programmed to consume their way to happiness. Insurance premiums, subscription services, entertainment, clothing, personal care. We're talking another $40, $70 daily in miscellaneous expenses. My friend Sarah, who runs a successful tech startup now worth $50 million, told me something profound. Franklin, I didn't become wealthy by cutting my $5 latte. I became wealthy by questioning why I needed that latte to feel productive. Before I continue, let me ask you to pause this video and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Creating content like this takes considerable research and preparation. I spend hours analyzing financial data, consulting with clients, and reading the latest economic reports to bring you insights that could change your financial trajectory forever. Your subscription encourages this work and helps me reach more people who need these wealth-building strategies. The real tragedy isn't that the middle class spends $200 daily. It's that they spend it without building assets. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this. 2 years ago, I consulted for twin brothers in Montreal. Both engineers, both earning $75,000 annually. Brother A spent his typical $220 daily on standard middle-class expenses. Brother B restructured his life to spend only $150 daily. and invested the $70 difference in index funds and rental property down payments. Fast forward 24 months. Brother A has slightly more consumer goods and the same net worth. Brother B has built $42,000 in investment assets and owns 20% of a rental duplex, generating $400 monthly cash flow. Same income, different mindset, completely different financial futures. The wealthy don't think in daily expenses, they think in daily investments. Warren Buffett, despite his billions, famously drives modest cars and lives in the same house he bought in 1958. But here's what most people miss. He's not cheap, he's strategic. Every dollar not spent on depreciating assets is a dollar that can compound for decades. I want you to try something radical for the next 7 days. Track every expense, but categorize each one as either wealth building or wealth consuming. Wealth building expenses generate future income or appreciate in value. Education, investment accounts, business equipment, real estate. Wealth consuming expenses provide temporary satisfaction but create no future value. Entertainment, luxury items, convenience foods, status purchases. Most middle-class families discover 80–90% of their daily spending is wealth consuming. The wealthy flip this ratio. They might spend the same total amount, but 70–80% goes toward wealth-building activities. Here's a question for the comments. What's your biggest daily expense that provides zero future value? Be honest. This community thrives on real talk, not Instagram fantasies. Let me share something that makes me chuckle. Last month, I met with a pharmaceutical sales rep earning $120,000 annually. She complained about not being able to save money, then proceeded to show me her $80 daily Starbucks and lunch habit, her $180 monthly streaming subscriptions, and her $450 monthly luxury car payment. When I calculated she was spending $67 daily on pure consumption, she looked shocked. But Franklin, these aren't big expenses. That's exactly the problem. The middle-class death is from 1,000 small cuts, not one large wound. Canadian families face unique challenges with higher taxation and housing costs, especially in Toronto and Vancouver. But I've seen countless clients there build wealth by understanding one principle. Lifestyle inflation is the enemy of compound interest. The moment your expenses rise with your income, you've trapped yourself in the middle-class hamster wheel. In France, the approach is different, but the principle remains. Higher social benefits create a safety net, but also a comfort zone that can prevent wealth accumulation. French clients often need encouragement to take calculated investment risks because their social system provides security but not prosperity. For my American viewers, you have advantages others don't. Accessible investment markets, favorable tax structures for long-term investing, and a culture that rewards entrepreneurship. Yet most squander these advantages with consumer spending that would make their grandparents weep. Here's my challenge to you, and I want to see your responses in the comments. For the next 30 days, before any discretionary purchase over $25, ask yourself this question: will this expense help me build wealth or consume it? Then share your biggest realization below. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I love seeing our global community of wealth builders and often incorporate location-specific advice based on viewer feedback. The middle class isn't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because they spend like consumers instead of thinking like investors. That $200 daily spending isn't the problem. It's the lack of intention behind every dollar that creates financial mediocrity. Remember, I prioritize responding to subscribers, so make sure you're part of our community. Your financial future isn't determined by your salary. It's determined by your spending patterns and investment mindset. Until next time, make your money work harder than you do.